Here's a look at the new Rodecaster Duo, and in this video I want to talk specifically about the pros and cons of using it for live streaming. Lately I've been having a ton of trouble managing all my audio sources, and I was hoping the Beacon Mix Create would solve this for me, but it crashes a lot and it doesn't let me do vocal processing unless I also buy their mic. So I picked up the Rodecaster Duo hoping it can replace all of this for me. I've been streaming with it for a couple weeks now, and it's been going really well, but I have a couple gripes with it that I think you should know before you buy it. Let's get into it. Here's everything I think you should know about streaming with the Rodecaster Duo. Let's start with why you would want to buy this in the first place. The first reason is to make your mic sound better with the onboard audio processing. And the second would be to give you more control over your audio sources because it gives you access to physical faders to control your mix while you're live. Managing all your audio sources while live can be pretty challenging, especially if you stream games because you're dealing with party chat, music, game audio, and your mic, and you got to control the levels of all of these. It's very difficult, and I think the presence of physical faders makes this way easier. I also want to show you just like how much the Rodecaster has simplified my setup. So this is all the equipment I was able to get rid of. I used to have the cloud lifter to boost the signal from the Shure SM7B. I was using the macro pad for changing scenes in OBS, audio interface for the Shure SM7B, and I was using the Beacon Mix Create for mixing my audio, but I don't need any of this anymore. Now this is the setup, very clean, very simple. All I have managing all the audio is the Rodecaster Duo. The mic feeds right into it directly on the back here, and that's all I need. I don't even need any software running on my PC. It's pretty fantastic. Also with the MIDI plugin, I can use it to change scenes as well. So from just chatting, you can configure any of these pads to switch up your scenes, which is pretty great. So after streaming with it for a couple weeks now, what I like about it is, the greatest thing about this is that all the processing to create the mix happens right on the device. So that's just less that my computer has to do while I'm streaming as far as processing goes and managing the audio. And I run a single PC setup, so that's really important to me. And it also adds a layer of simplicity to it. Because I'm pretty tired of dealing with virtual cables and even the Beacon software. It gets pretty frustrating, whether it's crashing or just disconnecting the audio sources. I've had a lot of trouble, and I want simplicity. I want to just hit live and have everything ready to go. And this has given me that, at least for the last couple weeks. I also liked that it was really easy to set up. You just plug in your mic, connect it to your computer with USB-C, and plug in the power cord. It'll show up as a new device that you select in OBS, and that's pretty much it. Also, it's incredibly easy to sound good. It's typically a good idea to have your mic run through a noise gate, some basic EQ, compression, and a limiter. And all this is possible to set up in OBS, but it takes some time to set up and can get confusing. The Rodecaster lets you be lazy, and you can turn all this on with just by choosing a mic preset. I also loved that all the pads on here can also send MIDI commands. So this means you can use them to control OBS just by hitting one of the pads and using the MIDI plugin. Everybody knows the Stream Deck is incredible, but I prefer to keep a minimalistic looking desk with as few things as possible on it as I can, and this allows me to do that and also control OBS right from the same device, which I really like. So yes, so far this thing has been excellent for live streaming, and I've really been enjoying it, but I do have a few gripes that I think you should know about. So the first one is multi-track audio is difficult to set up in OBS. So it's really easy to configure on the device itself. It is supported, but getting OBS to recognize each individual track and save that to your recording of your live stream is really difficult. And why that's important to me is because I'll typically mess with the tracks in post. Most common example is I have a good clip, but my party chat is going off about something dumb. Yo, thank you for the follow. Let's go. Let's see if we got the emote, bro.
We are just
Hell yeah, here we go.
Person.
And I just want to remove that audio track entirely. I found that very difficult to do. While I have seen some posts about how it's possible, I haven't got it set up and working just yet. So if you happen to know how to get this working, let me know in the comments because I'd love to hear from you. So aside from that, I also don't think the button lights that indicate whether or not a track is muted are obvious enough. I don't understand why the light is even on at all while it's not muted. It's hard to tell the difference between muted and not muted. I also find it pretty annoying that the faders don't line up with how they show up on the screen, so it can be kind of difficult for me. Maybe this is just me getting used to it, but it's hard for me to recognize which fader is which until I commit it to muscle memory. Also, the smart pads are really cool, but they're kind of mushy to press. I don't always know if I actually clicked it or not, so that could be a little frustrating. I wish there was some sort of feedback like a click. I don't know why they made these like drum pads. I wish it was just a button I could click. Finally, there's a fade in and out action that I can assign to any of the pads, which fades out all of the audio sources except for my mic, which is super cool, but I wish I had more control over what audio sources it's fading out. For example, I might want to fade out gaming and chat, but keep the mic on and music at the same level, but I'm not able to get that level of control. I've heard people complain about the back button being mushy and it being hard to tell if you've pressed it or not, but it's got a pretty good click to it in my opinion, and it hasn't been an issue for me. So yeah, I have a few gripes about this thing, but overall it's been great for live streaming. That's everything I think you need to know about the Rodecaster Duo, but if I missed anything, let me know in the comments, and good luck with your stream.